Okay, this is take like 87, whatever. So recently I did a preview video on an unboxing of a glide gear vest and arm stabilization system, SteadiCam system. I did not have the pole at that time, so I went ahead and purchased a old glide gear cam off of eBay. The glide gear arm and vest was purchased off of eBay, also used, but turned out it was an open box, new, when it came in. So that was a good deal. The pole was a joke and immediately started falling apart. It was not the same grade and quality as the arm and vest. So I paid $249 for the arm and vest. And the idea on this, building this kit out, was to stay under $1,000 because you can buy a new complete set with a carbon fiber pole for just a little over $1,500 on B&H. So the camera, or the arm and the vest, came used from eBay, open box, new. Then everything else was ordered through B&H, either used or new, with a monitor, new monitor. So I went with a 7-inch Field World 4K HDMI in and out, ultra bright. That's 2200 nit in sunlight, so it's really bright. And I've tried it in direct early morning sunlight, and it is dead on. If you're using it inside, you're probably between 10 and 15% to have it around what you would think a normal monitor on a camera would be. So I have an existing rig, which is a Sony FX3, and hopefully you can see it here. And I use the stock lens that came with it for my work, and I use a PicoStream Pico Gear mic system, which is a wireless Wi-Fi mic system, and it works very well. And I also have a Ronin SC. So that was the idea, was to build out a camera system similar to Jason Morris's or Best Boy Adams videos here on YouTube, and build it myself, put it together. So anyway, the arm came in, or the glide, or whatever that thing's called, the pole, I'm going to call it a pole, came in, and it was a joke. It immediately fell apart, was just a mess. So I went ahead and I purchased a real SteadiCam Solo, which is a pretty cool rig. It has the dropouts for the counterbalance weights. Let me go ahead and get this pulled out first. I bought this used on B&H for $343.03. But it is a monopod and SteadiCam pole in one, and it has a base plate with tilt up, tilt down controls, and tilt left and right controls, and a pretty smooth gimbal system. And it's also a monopod. So if I'm sitting and I'm doing recording with the arm and vest, and I want to take a break while talent is getting their line straight or doing whatever they need to do for the next thing, I can drop that monopod leg down and rest the camera about at arm height pretty comfortably. So takes a lot of stress off the lower back and arms when you can do that. So then I put the Ronin SC on this top plate and get the motorized gimbal stabilization in addition. Today I went ahead and I took that Ronin SC off and just flew the camera by itself on the pole, and I was pretty happy with it. Of course, you don't get the range of motion and the ultra stabilization that you do when you have a motorized gimbal on top of it. But so let me break this down. $1,000 is what I wanted to build it for. and I've got 249 in the vest and arm. I got 343.03 in the real SteadiCam Solo, which they don't make anymore, and I really wasn't able to find anything online that was commensurate to that. I liked that as soon as I saw it. So there was one item on B&H that I saw and purchased used. And then 373.95 was the 2 Camvate super clamp with 7-inch magic arms. And this has the clamp, which I can clamp pretty much anywhere. I think it opens to 2 inches at a max width, and pretty quick and responsive on that. I have the Feel World Ultralight 7-inch, and again, this thing is incredibly bright in direct sunlight with 2200 nit, and the menu is a little funny to get around, but that's great. So that, and all in all, I come to $965.98, and I still don't know how to use it because never used a SteadiCam vest and arm before in my life. Everybody that I've looked at on YouTube that's a real professional SteadiCam operator says, if you want to get into it, go take the class, sign up for a class, take your gear in, and learn the bad, get rid of the bad mistakes and learn the real way to do it. And I think I agree with that. This thing, I've almost broken my nose twice with the arm. I've almost knocked my teeth out twice with the arm and the vest, bending over and hitting the metal vest guard. You have to be extremely aware of where you are in this system. It's not like picking up a Ronin SC or S and holding it in your hands. You have something that is kind of wild. It's not even robotic. It can get out of control on you pretty quick if you're not paying attention to it. So I can't imagine, and this is a small set. You know, this is not a professional rig by any stretch of the imagination. I had to MacGyver some of it together. The Solo mounting point uses a smaller diameter pole and hole than the glide gear does. So what I did was I took the handle off of the glide gear and drilled a hole through the Solo handle and kind of jerry-rigged that with a pivot point with a lock washer. So, you know, all in all, with the SC on it in float mode, man, you can get some shots. You can get down on the ground, literally ground level, and bring that thing up and just maintain a level horizon. Even without the SC, it does a great job of keeping the horizon and removing any walking. The first time I had the whole rig together with the Ronin SC on it and the counterweights without the monitor, it just was amazing. I was jogging at a 59-year-old's pace. I was jogging, but I had no bounce in that arm at all. I'm looking forward to using the system to do our corporate YouTube videos here in the future. And I'm getting the camera dialed in, I'm getting the audio dialed in on the FX3 and the Pico Stream. I rarely use shotgun mics. I like having whoever is in front of the camera with a lav mic of some sort. I just think it works better. So that, and the Feel World Ultra Bright, that thing's great, but it does eat up batteries pretty quick. I use, well, I'm using it for my studio light now, but I use the Sony batteries, and I use the shallow ones, so the smallest ones that you can buy, and that'll eat that up in probably, this will eat that battery up in about 55 minutes if you're real high nit. brightness on it. If you're down to 10 or 15, which I recommend for inside, then you might get an hour 10, hour 15 out of it. But good monitor. It's not metal, it's plastic. But I'm not putting myself into dramatic situations. I'm really kind of just circling my talent and maybe going in on detailed shots of the equipment that we're talking about. So I don't need a really robust frame for this. And I'm sure you could buy something that would cover it up, or make something that would cover it up that would be a little more robust than that, that frame. But I'm getting it together. I'll definitely do some video work where I use the Sony A7iii to do the recording for the B-roll, to show you how steady this system is once I get it all dialed in. There's some things that are throwing my balance off on the Ronin SC, like cabling. The cable that I'm using is a standard household HDMI cable because I don't have one that's ultra thin. I'm planning on picking one of those up so I can not throw the weight off too much on that coming out of the side of the FX3 like it does with the full-size HDMI. So that's how it looks there. And so when you've got the heavy cable coming off, it's dragging that Ronin SC gimbal motor down. The SC won't handle this camera and the height with the arm on it, so that's why I bought the second magic arm to mount this to one of the arms or the pole of the glider, so that I can get my audio down on the rig itself too. Probably at some point in time I'll make the investment on the new RS Pro gimbal. I like the setup of that, plus you can also get the cable so you don't have to have the battery on the gimbal itself. Mount the gimbal lower on the plate of the Solo, and then mount the control handle and battery off of that unit, off the head down onto the handle somewhere. So that'll come in handy for that also. That's about where I'm at with it. I will, like I said, I'll do some test video with it here soon. But I want to do a video why I was not doing any kind of video on YouTube recently. A couple months ago, 2.5 months ago, I had a pretty heavy-duty hernia surgery. So I've been not on the top of my game. I've got still a bit of discomfort when I'm in a medium level of straining with anything right now. So have a great day, everybody. I'm Jay. I appreciate you coming to watch my videos. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscription button and the like button if you like my content. It means a lot to me. I don't monetize my channel at all. I can't at the viewership that I have. Please, let's grow my channel so I can give you better content. Thanks, everyone. Love you, and have a great summer.